Welcome to the inland waterways of Ireland. Whatever you're looking for, peace, tranquility, captivating countryside, wildlife, history, perfect solitude, or the best of crack and good company, it's all yours on your cruising holiday. And as long as you follow the guidelines explained in this video, your holiday should be a trouble-free one too. Remember, safe boat handling requires teamwork. That's why we ask that every member of your crew pays attention to the points made in this video and to the onboard instruction, all geared to ensuring that you have a great time all the time you're afloat. First, although we know that you'll be keen to get out onto the water and start having fun, we ask you to remember the golden rule of sailing: don't rush. Taking time to get organised and do some planning really does make a big difference.
Start the engine, turn the key round.
Before you leave, you'll be given hands-on training in the use of all controls and all the facilities aboard your chosen craft. Make sure you take full advantage of all the expert knowledge that's on hand, especially if boat handling and navigation are new to you. Please feel free to ask as many questions as you like and seek further advice at any time.
And you'll like this. This is the tank gauge for your water, drinking water.
Nice. Thank you.
Stow your gear carefully and securely, so it's easy to find but not getting in people's way. Make sure everyone on board knows the stowage plan so they can locate important items, especially safety equipment.
And John, this is the fire blanket, so we're going to leave that here. And the first aid kit, in case you cut your finger. So we leave that here, so all of these are here. Thanks, John. Thank you.
All craft are equipped with buoyancy aids, and before leaving port, it's essential that you check that you have the correct number in the correct sizes for each of your crew members. Children under 16 must wear buoyancy aids at all times, and adults are also advised to wear them when on deck. Everyone should know how to open and use your craft's escape hatches. And of course, before you begin your cruise, your instructor will also take you out on the water for some practice in boat handling. Again, take full advantage of this time to get to know your boat and to ask any questions you may have. When you're ready to set off on your own, do remember that planning your day's journey in advance can increase confidence and give all crew members something to look forward to. Don't be too ambitious regarding distances though, especially at the start. And keep an eye on the weather.
And then later on this evening we'll go out fishing.
Right.
So we go right out.
Irish weather can change quite quickly, even at the height of summer. Strong wind can affect boat handling. Rain and fog can affect visibility and certainly spoil your enjoyment. So be good to yourselves. If in doubt, don't go out. Remember, you're here to relax and let the world slow down for a while, to stop for a picnic. Watch the wildlife. Maybe catch a fish or two. Or just to soak up the natural beauty all around you. So allow a realistic time to complete the journey you have in mind, and still ensure you're safely in port before sundown. To stay safe, there are some simple rules of the road that everybody must observe. Keep to the right when meeting other craft, and stay to the left when overtaking. Navigation is not a problem, as long as you take the time to learn the rules. And that's not difficult either, and everybody in the family can help. Here's how it works. In the Shannon system, marker buoys are red or black. Going upstream and heading into bays and harbours, stay in the safe navigation channel by keeping red markers to your left and black markers to your right. When leaving port or heading downstream, the reverse applies. In the Erne system, the colours are different, but the navigation is just as simple. Here, the safe channel has markers painted half red and half white. To maintain the safe channel, just ensure that you cruise with the white side always facing towards you. And in the Erne system, do watch out for middle ground markers topped by red diamonds. These may be passed on either side, but not too closely. There are other areas needing special care too. For example, you need to allow plenty of swinging room when taking corners. And always give weirs a wide berth. The water speeding over the weir creates a current which can affect boat handling, so never go too close and avoid turning near weirs, bridges and lock entrances. Docking is a simple manoeuvre as long as you don't rush it. It's best to approach the dock from downstream, so the current can help slow the boat. Position the boat so that someone can step ashore easily, not take a risky giant leap. Sometimes there'll be a friendly hand to take a mooring rope from you, but you should always assume that you'll be docking without help and have your own crew ready. Once ashore, the simplest and safest way to tie up is simply to loop the rope once around the bollard or cleat and then secure the end back on your own craft. This has the great advantage that fingers are not at risk working against the full weight of the boat, and the rope can be adjusted from on board and also released from there when you're ready to move on. And on the subject of ropes, tidy equals safe. Never leave ropes in a heap on deck to cause trips or falls, nor trailing into the water where they could get caught in the propeller. For most people, a lock system is a new experience, but again, it's simple to stay safe. If the lock is manned, follow the lock keeper's instructions exactly. A crew member must be ready to tend the mooring ropes to hold the boat in position as the lock fills or empties. Never leave the ropes untended and never tie them in place when in the lock. Wait until the lock keeper tells you it's safe to leave, and since there may still be movement in the water, have your boat hook handy to push your boat away from the lock walls. Never ever use hands or feet to fend off. Boats can weigh up to 17 tons and are easily affected by wind and current. Here, in a narrow canal-type lock, the upsurge of water as the lock fills or empties is especially noticeable, and particular care is needed because the boat lifts or lowers more quickly than in the wider locks. Some of these locks, as in the Grand Canal, are unmanned, but they're simple to operate. If you use the winding key at a steady pace, stay alert on the ropes, and keep an eye on your dinghy if it's being towed, there should be no problem at all. And what if there is no lock keeper, such as here in the Shannon Erne waterway? When you approach, you will see either a red or green traffic light. Red means the lock is closed. Green means it's open and you may enter. But in either case, your first task is to dock and put a responsible crew member ashore to work the lock using an electronic swipe card, available from marinas and at the first lock in the waterway. When cruising, you will also encounter some bridges. The navigation arches are always clearly marked and are the only arches you may use. At lifting bridges, you must be 100% certain you have sufficient headroom to pass through safely. They are not all the same height, and some larger craft can pass through only if the bridge is opened. Use the phone on the jetty for further advice. Go slowly when approaching locks and bridges, passing other craft, anglers, swimmers and moorings. Never overload the dinghy or allow anyone to be in it when towing. And be warned, operating a charter boat under the influence of alcohol can be dangerous to yourself and others. There are also strict speed limits in place in many areas, and they are enforced. And of course, obeying some simple common sense rules will also make your holiday relaxed and trouble-free.
Mom, I think I caught a fish.
Be sensible with gas, especially if you're not used to it. Never leave a pot unattended. It makes sense to switch off the gas at the bottle when you're not using it, and never smoke when changing the supply. And when moving about on deck, remember the sailor's rule is 1 hand for yourself and 1 hand for the boat. Use the safety rails. Engines should be left to the professionals. All our engines are serviced to the highest standards before each charter, and we ask that you do not remove the engine cover nor touch any of the working parts unless your instructor has given you specific training on routine maintenance. And while we don't want you to work too hard on your holiday, remember that a safe boat is a tidy boat. You must always have clear access to all safety equipment, both above and below decks. Decks should be clean so they're as non-slip as possible, but take care. When you're underway, the weight of a bucket of water can be enough to pull you over the side.
Get the tap instead.
It's important to have the decks clear when anchoring too, as you'll need free access to the bow of the boat. Approach the shallows very slowly, and first make sure that when anchored you'll have plenty of swinging room. Then stop the engine, release the anchor over the bow and allow the craft to fall back on the chain, checking that the chain becomes taut, meaning the anchor is holding, rather than staying slack and bouncing along, meaning that it's not. And even with all these precautions, treat anchoring only as a temporary stop during the day. Do not trust the anchor to provide safe holding overnight. But what if, despite all your care, something does go wrong? In the unlikely event of accident or injury, the golden rule is keep calm. For example, in the case of a grounding due to careless navigation, it may be understandable that tempers can be lost, but it's not helpful.
What are you thinking of? Did you not see the marker? Hey, Dad, look!
First check that everyone is safe and accounted for. Then make sure the boat is secure and not taking in water. If possible, contact your cruise company.
Are you okay?
And raise your distress flag to summon assistance. In the case of an accident involving another boat, collect all the relevant details and complete an accident report form as soon as possible. And of course, if you should see a distress flag being flown, report this at once.
Hello, I'm looking around here and I've seen a boat going aground with a distress flag up.
Don't rush in to try to help yourself. Remember, it's easy for one grounded boat to become two grounded boats. If a crew member should fall overboard, don't panic and do not dive in after him, as this may simply increase the problem. Immediately throw him a lifebelt, even if he's already wearing a buoyancy aid. Appoint a crew member to keep an eye on him and reassure him. Then slow engines, turn the boat and come back to him, cutting the engine completely when you get near to him. Bring him back onto the craft at the stern using the steps or boarding ladder, or if that proves impossible, secure a rope around his chest and wait, engine off, for help to arrive. But as we've already said, if you follow the guidelines explained in this video, your only problems should be where to go next and how to provide yet more positive experiences and wonderful memories of a safe and happy holiday on Ireland's beautiful inland waterways.